In a German town, there is a street where, to this day, no one is allowed to play music. It is called Bungelosenstrasse, the street without drums. It has stayed silent for over 700 years, in memory of the day the town's children walked out of it and never came back. This is the true history behind a nursery rhyme. You have heard the cheerful version. Hamelin is overrun with rats. A stranger in a coat of many colors offers to lure them away with his magic pipe. He plays, the rats follow him into the river and drown. But when the townsfolk refuse to pay, he plays again, and this time the children follow him out of town, never to return. Here is the first surprise. The rats were never in the original. The earliest surviving accounts mention only a piper and vanished children. The rats, the plague, the rat-catcher's revenge, those were all added far later. The oldest known version to mention rats dates to roughly 1559, almost 300 years after the event. The original story is stranger and darker. A stranger, a song, and children who simply walked away. The people of Hamelin recorded this. Around the year 1300, a stained glass window in the town's market church showed a piper leading away children. It was destroyed in the 17th century, but written descriptions survive. In the town's own chronicle, the entry for 1384 reads simply, "It is 100 years since our children left." For years, Hamelin dated its documents from the loss. The fullest early account, the Lüneburg manuscript from around 1440 to 1450, records that on the feast of Saints John and Paul, the 26th of June, 1284, 130 children, born in Hamelin, followed a piper in many-coloured clothes out of the town and were lost near a hill called the Koppen. A date, a number, a vanishing. So what really happened? No one knows. Historians have theories, and I will be honest that these are theories, not proven facts. The first, emigration east. In this era, agents called locators recruited young Germans to settle lands to the east. The linguist Jürgen Udolph found that Hamelin-era family names cluster in regions north of Berlin and in what is now Poland, suggesting the children, a word that often meant a town's young people, may have left to build new lives. Another idea, that the rats carried plague, fails on timing. The Black Death did not devastate Europe until 1348, more than 60 years after 1284, and the rats were a later addition anyway. Others point to a dancing sickness, where medieval crowds danced uncontrollably for days, or a local disaster, a landslide near the Koppen Hills that swallowed the young. So how did a real tragedy become a rhyme about rats? Because that is what folklore does. A wound too painful to name gets wrapped in a story you can survive telling. Adding the rats gave the tale a villain and a tidy moral pay your debts, and turned unbearable loss into a lesson. The comforting version is not a lie, so much as a bandage. 3 children, the story says, were left behind, one lame, one deaf, one blind, the ones who could not follow the music. Perhaps that detail is the town remembering exactly who was left to grieve. The version most of us half remember was polished into a famous poem in the 19th century, long after the rats had crept in. But underneath the rhyme is a real town, a real date, and 130 children the record still cannot explain. On Bungelosenstrasse, the music stays off. So what do you think happened in Hamelin in 1284? Emigration, disaster, or something we have lost the ability to see? Tell me in the comments below. And if you want the next story your grandparents cleaned up before they told it, subscribe.